What's going on, guys? What's going on? God, I don't know why I just have like a little country accent right there. How's everybody's Tuesday? That was weird. Sorry about that, guys. What's going on, guys? I'm good. Got the new hoodie on. If you guys haven't seen it yet. Do you have good news? If you're waiting on a gray hoodie, I know, like I said, there's like 8 to 10 people that were still waiting on one. It has been shipped. We finally got our reprint done because a few of them didn't come out the way we needed to, and it was a big pain in the butt, but those are on the way, so I hope you guys enjoy them. And like I said, just go ahead and email our merch email, and we'll make sure that you guys get a free gift next merch round if you were one of the unlucky few people that had to wait. So I apologize, but coin gap would be awesome. We shall see. Like I said, guys, I loaded 130 shares of coin after hours at 269.8 average. So I hope you guys like the new stream setup. If you aren't on the pre-market lives, the new stream setup is done, so you guys hopefully can see the chart a little bit clearer. I reformatted the software just so you guys have like a better view of everything, instead of having to deal with trying to stare at the screen and not be able to see stuff. So no, I'm not worried about coins price action after hours. I think it's going to be just like I think it's gonna be like AMD, right? Like AMD was down 4% after hours. I'm going to look for the same exact type of move tomorrow, which is the flush right off open, tap that support level, and then give us the big gap back up. So good evening. And guys, just so you know, I'm not worried about the price action on coin because of the lottos I took. It's $1,000 worth of lottos or whatever. It's not like I'm okay if I lose it, right? I'm more looking because I think there's an opportunity for a major move up, right? And so I'm looking at it more of a trade I want to take tomorrow, not so much the lottos. But yeah, so I'm gonna give everybody another minute to get in here. The red candle strategy works every day on a lot of different things, right? Obviously today's trade with DDD, which was sick. If you ended up holding full for that, it ended up being a 200 something % move, just absolutely crazy. I think the calls went to 2 something. I'm gonna hold some SoFi through earnings, but that's just me, right? So you have to make that decision. I personally am going to, just because I think that there's a lot of room, but it's up to you guys. Sell pre-market? Can't sell options pre-market. If you're talking about shares, I'm probably going to just take the shares long, honestly. I was thinking about that. I was I might just hold those and maybe start building another long-term account with some plays that I like. Personally, I think the revenue is insane, beat by over $500 million. And they tripled EPS, which is a really good sign, guys. Like I said, I hadn't seen earnings like that since Zoom's first earnings, which is during COVID, last May, I believe, when Zoom went absolutely parabolic. So SPRT's looking nice again, almost back over 8. For me, as much as I like the play, I'm not going to hold through earnings on Thursday. So I'm hoping Bitcoin rips overnight. It looks really good right now. And I think SPRT will look good for tomorrow. It's a low float, so I think it'll be good. Do I expect price upgrades from Coin? Yeah, I definitely do. No, Zoom went straight up after earnings. I think this will be more similar to AMD. The market was different when Zoom had earnings. I think this is going to be very similar to AMD, where we saw that big candle down, but the news is just like so overpoweringly good, right? Like the one thing I saw people talking about as like a negative was the fact that trading volume was down on Coinbase. They're expecting it to be down next quarter, which is obviously they make all their money from fees. But the thing about that people don't realize is that the trading volume was up 1,700% this past quarter. So like, you know, a 20% drop in trading volume is still a ton, right? So a monthly, I don't know. I may honestly take some calls on Coin tomorrow that are for a couple weeks out, because maybe we see like some type of, you know, delayed move with the like, you know, because they don't, you know, they want to, there's obviously a ton of call sellers on Coin right now because of earnings. A lot of people want to recoup those premiums and not have to get assigned their shares. But I still think we see the move tomorrow. That's what I'm going to play for. So yeah. Yeah, the candle strategy is basically right off open. You have a buying opportunity of about a minute, where usually if this name that you're trading has good volume and it's up a little bit in pre-market, it'll come back down and test that recent support. There's a full red candle video on my YouTube playlist, which you can find on the Patreon. You can just do like, you can search it on the page. Like if you're on Mac, obviously like Command F, and then you can search, just look up YouTube saved lives. You know, just search the Patreon for saved lives and it should be there. But that's the announcement I'm leading into, is I am going to have so Chicken Trades is working very diligently on building a very clean and neatly organized YouTube playlist. That's going to be all of the technical Tuesdays that I've done, all of the like specialty videos that I've done, all of the, you know, pre-market lives, right? That'll be available for you guys to view. Give me 1 second. My dog was hanging out in the office, so I had to get him out because he was barking. Even though I don't know if you guys could hear, but he's whining, being a baby. He's a puppy, so he's very like still very babyish. Anyway, so he'll be building like a playlist of all the past videos I've done, which will be available for you guys to use, which I'm very excited about. I'm excited that it's going to be in a neat and like clear place, so you guys will have access to it and can, you know, get through some of the education and some of my streams from the past, and that'll help you guys. Yeah, it should be awesome. Yeah, they'll have tables. I'm gonna try to get them all titled, which is gonna be great, and everything like that. So yeah, DDD, you know, I was in decently heavy. I just scaled out way too early again because the market was a little bit shaky today, but DDD was just insanely strong. I was out of the office for a few hours and I totally missed the downside move. You know, if you guys looked today, right, on DDD, so this followed the plan to a T. Like, could not have been more perfect. I said on the break of 33.83, I was going to buy calls. I waited for a 5-minute candle to confirm. What did I say on the pre-market live? All the way up, right? Like, as soon as we broke that 34 level, what I said on the pre-market live, I said, whenever we break this 34 level, right, because it was, you know, a humongous resistance, right? When we broke it last time, look what we did. Stocks repeat themselves, guys. That's exactly what happened today on DDD, right? I said that 33.83 level was the trigger. Right, as soon as we get through that, look at those candles, right, on the 30-minute chart. Couldn't be more perfect, right? You can't ask for a better trade than that. My mistake again was the downside move that I missed, because where I was going to look to short had I been in the office all day, right, was that 41.48 level. But once it broke 40 to the downside, it felt really overextended. RSI was nuts. I just missed it, and I didn't want to like call a trade while I was driving because I can't manage it as well. I can't be on my desk, but really nice downside move. Could have played those weekly puts for another, you know, 150, 200%. So tomorrow, I'm going to watch this level for a bounce though. At the end of the day, earnings were fantastic. So I would be interested in a bounce off this level. If again, remember, this was big resistance, right? So if this turns into support, that's very bullish for continuation, right? And that's going to depend on the market and everything like that. But DDD will definitely be on my watch list tomorrow for weekly calls off of the 34 level. Confirmation above 34, I'm definitely going to look to get long again. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Shoei. Yeah, that Shoei dude banked on the downside. He killed it. Exactly. Anyway, so yeah, it was a fantastic move. Yeah, Shoei Trades. Follow him on Twitter. He was all over that, and I missed it. So anybody, if you see people on Twitter saying that Shoei Trades doesn't have his own ideas, Shoei Trades is a very smart trader and is very, very good at what he does. Even though he's not super vocal about it on Twitter, he's a great follow. Some really good content, so make sure you guys are following him at Shoei Trades. Really good guy and one of my good friends. So, anyway, and he killed it on the downside move. Again, tomorrow I'm going to look for 34 support to confirm. If we confirm off that, I'm definitely interested in taking calls again. Again, what's been running lately, right? In the mornings, names that have great earnings have made humongous moves, right? Let's think about the names that have had fantastic earnings. AMD, right? Flushed. Great earnings report, like fundamentally a great earnings report. That's what I'm saying. Not, great earnings report fundamentally, right? So sound, they rip because institutions buy. That's what you're seeing. That's AMD wasn't ripping because, that's not all retail volume. It's when institutions see fantastic earnings like that, they're going to buy in long because, they like it. And those orders execute, 9:30 next morning, right? So I really do think that's what you're seeing. It's the move I'm going to look for on coin tomorrow. Dream setup for me is we test 264 off open. I would love a flush. I don't even care about the shares I have in my account. I'll handle 20 minutes of dip for that. I would love a flush to 265, 266, right? I'll be looking at this level from tonight because you look at that. Tonight was very bullish, honestly, in after hours. So many people are mad because it was up only 0.82%, but look what it did. It flushed. And then we just hit this support level, right? Like nothing fundamentally on the chart hurt the stock, right? Like we didn't break this support, right? We didn't have some really massive red candle. All we did was we just rejected resistance, right? We just rejected the 283 level, which we've been struggling with, right? So tomorrow, if we flush and hit to that 264 red candle strategy at open, I'll look to add the 280 calls, right? And my risk is defined. My stop would be under, this level, 263, 262, 5-minute candle under that, I'd be out. But what I believe we will see happen is just like AMD, we get that hard flush at open, and that's where I'm going to be looking to add, and probably a heavy because I really love the setup. So, won't IV crush the premiums? We're after earnings now. So actually there's probably gonna be a nice opportunity on these premiums. IV would have been high on DDD too, but that's what I'm saying, guys. I'm in these trades for 30 to 40 minutes. Like IV crush matters if you're in the trade for 4 hours or a day, right? Like then you start to get the theta decay and, IV crush and all this stuff. But I'm in and out of these trades so quickly, it's not a big deal. Why did I scale out 30% at 9:44 a.m.? Because I wanted to secure some gains. I don't know. It's the summer. I scaled out. I don't know. It's just I'm okay with 55 to 75. That was a great move. My average was 53, I think. I filled some at 50 and some at 55. So I don't know. Just took some gains off the table. I always I love securing gains more than anything. You're never going to catch me holding full for the move. It's just not going to happen. I don't care how many 300%ers I missed that could have made me I'm going to stick with my discipline overall, right? There's never going to be a move where I FOMO and I could miss 1,000%er and have 10 grand in it or something, and I'm still not going to hold full for the next one. Yeah, my discipline is very, 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 very tight. I don't deviate. I'm not emotional. I scale out when I scale out. I take my gains and I protect my downside always. Secure gains. Do you ever use a tight trailing stop loss? It depends on the day, honestly. I'm in that sense, my discipline. If I'm up huge on the day, I will have a lot more leeway, and that's why I always end up having, huge days is because when I have like 10K days, right, I end up, things are usually like, or not 10K, I'm saying when I have like a 10K day by like 10 a.m., right, I know I'm already up 10 grand. I feel fantastic. My risk tolerance changes more. I see things probably a little better, and I let my winners run way harder when I've already met my daily goal, because it's a thing. And my daily goal isn't a specific number, it's just in a range, right? And the summer is definitely different. Like my daily goal right now is like 10 grand. During the winter it might be 20 or 25, right? But right now, like 10 grand a day, I have no problem with that. Discipline is key. So a lot of people are asking how to fill quickly. It's a big one. So what I do, right, is, and this is hard, right? And this is what I'm saying. So I will have my phone out, right? But look, I'm watching us. But I'll have my phone out. Webull Desktop actually is not always great for filling quickly. What I do, right, is I'll look at the premiums, right? And if I know I want to fill something, like for coin tomorrow, right? I'm very good at estimating what premiums are going to open at, right? Like I've been trading options for, a long time now, and I like filling it open. So I look constantly. I'm like, okay, like the better you know the stock, the better you know the premiums, right? So I'll set 2 different bids, right? None of them huge, and I'm going to see where I get filled. If I'm trying to make sure if something is going to open in at support, I'm going to make sure I get filled, and then I'll have my tight stop loss. But if you have Webull open, right, you can have it open to the specific ticker, right, that you're going to, okay, so I'm going to show you guys an example. So for example, on coin, right, like say tomorrow you're going to try to fill the 280 call. And I'm going to put pictures up on Twitter after this, because I should have screen recorded my phone, put it on the streaming software, but Webull will bring you open to a screen like this, right? So where you can like view the exact, price, everything like that, right? On that screen is where you're going to want to be sitting, right? So I'll have my phone open here with the options like buying screen, right? And then I'll have the chart open, and I'll be looking for that support dip, and I may have a bid set too, so if like my desktop fills it, great, but if not, I can easily adjust the bid from my phone, right, to either move it down if I see it's going to come down a little bit more if we're consolidating on support, or I can, obviously adjust it upwards, but you want to be sitting on that screen for that specific stock, right, when you're trying to fill. So if you know you're going to play something off open, right, like so say if you wanted to fill coin tomorrow, you would sit on that screen of the strike price you want to add, right, have Webull, like have your chart open on a different screen and be able to adjust the bid as it's moving, right, because at the first 10 seconds is weird, right, like there's the huge spread, like you don't want to get filled high at that point. You want to wait for about 20 to 30 seconds and then fill when you get that support dip or whatever. Don't ever chase, right? If you're like constantly having to push the bid up, you don't want to do that. But I find it that my mobile will often fill like 10 to 15 seconds quicker, which sometimes is 20 to 30% worth, right? So, it is really important. So that would be, I'll do a screen recorded like tutorial on my phone. But obviously it's going to take, I don't want to like literally be holding my phone up. You guys aren't going to be able to see. So it's just hard because I can't show you, I can show you how to fill the desktop, but yeah. So do I ever use hotkeys? No, I do not use hotkeys. Would you buy coin cons on the AM flush? Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's what I just said. You don't want to just buy the flush blindly, right? Like you want to buy the flush to a key support level. If you just buy the flush, like you could have bought the flush on mRNA today, right? Like you don't want to buy this. People buy the flush all the time, and then they get screwed, right? Like let's look at mRNA off open today, right? You could have bought this flush. Could you have bought this like you could have bought this flush, right? And then you would have been down like whatever percent, right? Options, like you've been screwed. I filled mRNA 20 seconds off open. I filled those 100% on mRNA calls. So yeah, using the bid and ask. That's what I'm saying. That's why you can just screen record an iPhone. That's why you screen record, or that's why you fill using mobile is nice, because the buttons are super, like, honestly, I literally think it's just, they fill quicker. I don't know, like, it's like, I usually have my phone on LTE. I don't know if, like, you guys have slow Wi-Fi. I don't really know, but for some reason, Webull Mobile fills, on average, I would say 8 to 10 seconds faster. Like, I filled mRNA today at, I think I filled like 520 and then 550, and then I sized in, and so ended up selling most at like 930 and then like 870. So, but again, and I was more like, these are going to print tomorrow. Those 540 puts are going to be nuts tomorrow. I'm telling you, I think we fill this gap down this week. 420 to me seems like logical level. 445 maybe, but I really think we fill this gap down to 420. And I think, honestly, I think we see lower than that. I think probably this retraces to 385 at least. And I think 385, 400 is a good short-term downside price target. Yeah, first minute. And again, you don't want to just buy the flush blindly because you want to buy support, right? There wasn't a lot of support on mRNA today. I mean, it hit that 550 support, but up here, you're so close to at the highs, it hasn't. Support comes from the stock coming down and retesting and then going back up. Like, the more it hits a certain level, that's support building, right? It's the chart becoming healthier, things like that, right? Like, we know coin has support because, right, you can see it. Like, it's just, it's traded for long enough that it has really strong support here. It's building support up here, and we know that there used to be support at this level at 282, right? Once we see 282, like I said, I think 310 is quick, really, really quick over. This is equally as big of a gap, right? This is a 30-point gap. The gap that we just traded was like 24 points, I think. So I want to see a 5-minute candle close over that level, or, and off open, I'm looking at the 1-minute candle, right? And I understand that purpose kind of defeats itself with the 5-minute confirmation, but off open, you're taking a risk by trading the open. What you have to be disciplined about is when it breaks your stop, right, and you get a 5-minute close under that level, right? Or if you see a major flush under your support level, you have to cut it and you can re-enter later. But you have to be really disciplined about your stops, right? So if you look at coin, okay, so tomorrow, right, if we got the opening flush, right, and then I buy at 264, right, I'm very quickly placing a stop at 261, right? Like, I don't care if I see a major flush below that, I'll probably cut under that level, under that 261 level, because I don't want to ride it down to 256, right? What I want to do is limit my risk as much as possible. But most of the time, guys, like, this is becoming strong support for coin, right? Like, we've it's used to be a strong support. It's building again. Seeing it hold today in after hours for me was almost more bullish than it being up 20% after hours, right? So, and then you want to look at, that's a good point. Someone just said it in the chat. You want to look at pre-market lows are really important. So tomorrow, right, like, if the market opened right now, what I want to use is, but look at that. The post-market low, so after hours low, coincides with the key level, right? It hit right off 264, right? And why is this a key level? Because this was the breakout level, right, from Friday. Look what happened. Like, once we broke 264, it happened pre-market, obviously Monday morning. But look at what we did, right? We gapped up huge. So because that was a strong resistance, we now know that as a support, right, that's very bullish that it held, right, which it hadn't done yet. So it's almost like it kind of needed to touch that level for the overall health of the stock. That's why I'm looking at it as such a bullish thing, even though, people think, oh, seeing it go up would have been so bullish. But the fact that it held that support makes me extremely bullish for tomorrow, right? And honestly, I'm hoping it stays down here until open because I want the entry, right? So, do I ever use the wash sale rule? No. Unless I take like a massive loss on a stock, which I haven't done yet. So, what about a gap fill on coin before a run? Gap fill down to 256? I don't think so. Maybe. That's why I said I'm not going to ride it down, but I think we bounce off 264. Unless the market's like absolutely trash, but. So, yeah, I've only played mRNA using the levels we've used for the past couple of days. Fantastic. Literally, great job. You can make a living doing that. You can literally make a living playing levels on stocks. I don't know how to make that any more clear. I did it for 3 months, right? Like, not one problem. I literally only traded Riot for like 3.5 months. Buy support, sell at resistance. The end. Not hard, right? Like, as soon as you guys learn these key levels and how they act the way they do, that is the point of this Patreon, right? This is basically you call this a key level boot camp, right? Like, that's what this is. This is literally all I use to trade. I don't use any other indicators except for VWAP, right? Just key levels. No, I do not trade live. If we so for tomorrow, for example, like, I'm not like super picky. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, it hit 265.30. I'm not going to buy it. Like, if we like get our flush and then it hits 265 instead of 264, like, I'm still going to buy it, right? Like, you know what I mean? And then all I would do is just place my stop loss below 263, right? As soon as we confirm under it. Yeah, key level boot camp. Y'all are laughing, but it's the truth. Like, that's what this is. I'm hoping that's what it is, right? Like, that's what I want it to be. I feel like I feel like the people that have been here a while have learned so much, right? And that is, fantastic, right? And I think that this is such an overlooked thing in the world of trading. People overcomplicate things, right? Like, everybody's like, you need EMA clouds and you need volume profile and you need all this like bullshit. Like, I'm literally living proof, right? You don't need that stuff. You don't. You can trade off key levels alone. Today on DDD, I told you the trade before it happened. Like, I'm not being cocky. I have no need for gratification. You guys notice I barely talk about my calls on banger calls. Yeah, I'll post something on my main Twitter. I very rarely am like, yeah, I called, other people are always bragging that they call like a 200%er. I'm like, okay, like, in the market's slow. I mean, yeah, I'm going to talk about DDD. The play went for like 300%, right? But guys, I told you guys this is how it would work out if we broke that level last night. I'm not from the future, right? Like, I just know how they act on key levels. You didn't need a single other indicator. All you had to do was wait for a 5-minute candle close above 33.83, right? The level was laid out perfectly on the watch list, on the pre-market live, broke over that level. We confirmed it was, at that point, it was, where do you want to take your profit? Right? Like, yeah, I'm so happy to see that. It's very, very happy. What duration do I use for support and resistance? All the durations. I normally look at the 5-minute throughout the day, but I mean, I always say this when I enter a trade, I look at the daily, the hourly, 5-minute, period. Like, I want to buy this dip on DDD already. I know it's going to bounce from here, at least a couple dollars. It's going to bounce. This level, I keep preaching the same stuff, guys. It took me a while too. So if it's taking you a while to learn, don't feel bad. Like, it took me a while, So just accept it as a process, but, go back and study and look and see if you start understanding this, right? Like, this level on the daily was a huge resistance, right? Let's zoom out a little bit, right? Every time we've broken this level to the upside, we've seen a move to 40. One time, right? This one time we went to 50. 2 times, 3 times, right? So what do you guys think is going to happen when we break the 41.52 level? Who can tell me? What do you guys think is going to happen when we break 41.52 to the upside with, good volume and confirmation? What do you guys think? What do you guys think I'll give you a hint right now. What do you guys think is going to happen? Tell me in the live chat. Exactly, 56. Thank you. Yep. Boom. Right? 56. I would probably build my life on it, right? That's what I'm saying, guys. Like, it's not difficult, right? What happened the stocks repeat themselves. What happened the last time we broke this level? Well, we've rejected it. That's why today was a fantastic short opportunity, because we haven't been able to break this resistance, right? So the odds were, right, because everyone else is looking at the same chart, they're thinking, oh my gosh, we're probably not going to get over this level, therefore they sell, right? So that's, the stock market just takes money from the informed or from the uninformed and transfers it to the informed, right? So it's your job to be informed every single day when you get up and trade, right? And this is information. This is the best source of information we have, is this chart, because it tells us, right, like what's going on and what we should look for. And guess what? They repeat themselves, right? So guess what? In the future, maybe 3D printing gets hot. And when it does, you can, bet your ass I'm going to load up when we break 41 on DDD calls, right? Probably going to load up on $50 calls, because this is a 15-point gap, right? Do I chart it off open? I look at the open candle. Exactly. Stocks repeat themselves. Stocks are Groundhog Days, exactly. So honestly, what I have in long account, I added it like 28. I added a 500 shares almost. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like next time, yeah, like that's the type of trade I'll put 30% of my account in. When we break 41, because guess what? I'm really confident we're going to break at some point, right? Like whenever it happens, it may not be for 3 months. DDD could stay in this channel for a year, right? But at some point it's going to happen, and I'm going to know when we break 41, right? So, and then it's the same thing. When we break 56, then we're in price exploration mode. That's when you see a move like AMD, etc. Does that make sense, guys? You guys can tell me in the live chat. Did that whole 10 minutes I just spent explaining that make sense? Did that make sense? Right? Old resistance becoming new support type of thing, right? Like stocks repeating themselves. Yes. Okay. Perfect. My goal is for this to shorten the learning curve, right? I would be so happy if none of you guys took one call and you just learned how to read this, because the chart is not everything. Conviction matters. Emotions matter, discipline matters, but the chart is really important because it's your best form of information when you come to, if this is your job or if this is something that matters to you, when you step up to the plate every day, to use a baseball analogy, this is your scouting report on the pitcher, right? To use a baseball analogy if you're familiar. So yeah, you can just play this video every Tuesday. I know. If you've been here a long time, you're probably like, dude, this guy just rambles about key levels, dude. It's so annoying. We hate Manz. Manz is literally the worst, right? So, it's really just important to enforce that concept, guys. It took me, many, many months of learning this, but it's, like I said, don't make it overcomplicated. Don't stress yourself out trying to learn every indicator and all this other stuff. Volume and key levels are more than enough to learn how to trade a chart. Not a call, probably just key level gang. I don't know. Maybe we should have said key level gang instead of game gang. Key level hoodies coming soon. I'm going to chart Fubo actually. This is a fantastic setup for tomorrow because what does it look like? It looks like DDD. And the levels are actually weirdly very much the same. 35 level is going to be key here. Tomorrow. Right? So what did we see in the 5 minute? We saw a major gap up because of earnings. Looks exactly like DDD did when it gapped up. So what am I going to look for tomorrow? Well, before I enter a trade, what do I need to do? I need to look at the daily. Okay. Right? Let's zoom out a little bit. Let's come over here. Let's just look at the weekly to make it easy. Okay. Where is our resistance? Right? Where do we have trouble getting? This looks like a carbon copy of DDD. And it's weird because the levels are almost identical. Exactly. The more I repeat it, the more it'll stick in your heads. What am I going to look for tomorrow on this? Can anyone, you guys want to tell me in the live chat what I'm going to want to see before I enter? What level am I looking for? It's marked on the screen if you can't see it. $35.71. Exactly. Right. Fubo trades a little bit differently. It just moves a little bit differently. I don't love the way it moves. It's packed with shorts, but I like it. I won't enter with the same size I did on DDD because I've traded DDD so many times that I'm just like super comfortable with it. It's like going on a date with a girl, right? Like entering a trade is like going on a date, or a guy. If you're a girl, that's fine. I know there's girls in here. More power to you, but it's it's the same thing, guys. Or how comfortable are you with that person in that sense, or how comfortable are you with the stock, right? Like that's how much you're gonna, how much you're gonna play with, right? You have to determine how much comfort you have. So 35.71, we have a really nice gap to fill, right? So what am I gonna look at call strike wise? Well, I like to go 10% out of the money. I think we could see a move to 45, right? Honestly, more realistic price target for me would be 44. So what am I going to look at call strike wise? I'm probably going to look at the the $40 call weekly, right? Which shouldn't be too expensive because it's only up 12% after hours. That's not huge, right? Even the DDD calls weren't super expensive. I just picked a stock and drew key levels. I'm drawing the key levels right now. Somebody asked in the live chat. I'm drawing the key levels for you guys right now. Right, I came on this Fubo chart, and I always want to say Fubu, like Damon John from Shark Tank. I don't know why it pops in my head, but Fubo, right? It's literally the same chart as DDD, right? So what do I want to see? Well, we clearly have resistance, right there, right? When we broke that resistance the last time, we gapped to 62, right? What happened this time we broke the resistance? Right? We gapped up. What did we touch? 57, right? So first target for me above 1570 or 35, say 35. We'll say 35.71 for confirmation because that's the top of that candle on the wick. You could probably use 35.50. That was going to be my trigger, but strong confirmation with volume, right? Over that level, I'm going to take the $40 call weekly, right? 10% out of the money. Fantastic risk reward. So, will I wait for the flush? No, this is a different type of trade, right? Like, I'm looking this is a breakout trade. Like, I didn't buy the flush on DDD this morning. I waited for a breakout. This is a no trigger, no trade scenario, right? Like, if Fubo opens and dips to 30, I'm not going to buy that, right? Because then it's just in the middle of this range. What I want to see is strong volume, right? And we're already at 32.10 after hours, so strong volume. I might take a starter. I know a bunch of you guys took the DDD calls before the trigger and like it worked out. That's fantastic. Yeah, I might fill some off open, right? And then play it to the resistance. If it doesn't break, I'll sell. But ideally, I want to enter this trade with size only over 35.71 because in my opinion, right, the chart says, what the chart is telling me is that once we break this level, right, we've got a lot of room up, right? So key levels here, obviously, this 1491 was lows. That was when growth got crushed. Now we've been consolidating. This thing's been strong for a couple of weeks, and it has a major gap to fill, right? If it can break 44, we're talking 50s for sure. Right, these are super wicky candles, so clearly the resistance is nuts up there. But 50s is a good psychological level. And then at some point, Fubo, like if their business continues to grow, will probably fill that gap up to 61. But that's right there as an example of how I draw key levels. Yeah, no, I'm not saying that 30 to 35 isn't a nice move, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying in terms of like, for this example of understanding the concept, right? Like I want to see the move up, right? Like I want to see that, like for the term of breakout buying, like sure, like on DDD, but you know, if you do buy that and then you get trapped and it sells off, like it's just, you know, for me, a lot of other traders, right, that's what you're doing is you have to think about it. Other traders are looking at this key level too, and they're like, oh yeah, when we break that, I'm going to get long. So you're going to see this massive influx of buying. That's what you saw on DDD today. That's why it moved the way it did, right? So, you know, and, you know, it's not like it has crazy strong support at 30, right? Like even though, you know, we're at this resistance, you know, I think there's a gap down to like, you know, this 24 level in my opinion. So I would like to, because what's the pattern here, right? When it does hit this resistance, it gaps back down to 24, right? So for the long-term health of the stock, I think, you know, a break over that resistance would be really healthy. So open interest or volume? Not really, unless I'm swinging something. Facebook, I know a bunch of people want it covered. This one's pretty simple. This thing looks really bullish. Like long term, I'm so bullish on Facebook, primarily because the Oculus. I don't know if you guys read their earnings report, but the Oculus was like 2% of Facebook revenue, and I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but for a stock or for a company that makes the majority of its money off of advertising, and I'm talking about like 99% of its money, seeing a 1% growth in sales coming from something like the Oculus is really, really bullish, because it means they're diversifying, and that's only going to grow. And I see the Oculus sold out everywhere, and I definitely want to make Facebook a part of my long-term portfolio at some point. I'm going to look at September. If we get that little bit of a market correction, Facebook will be on my buy list for long-term portfolio ads. The levels are simple here. It needs to clear 364.50 for a move to at the highs. Thought we were going to get that move off open today. We teased it, hit 363. No confirmation. I took the lottos. Definitely not my best trade ever, but you know, I really thought Facebook was going to be a little bit stronger today. Big tech just doesn't have as much buying volume right now. A lot of the volume is in small and speculative plays. So, you know, I really, a lot of my focus is in there. So, yeah. So Facebook is, in my opinion, probably like, you know, a double still in the long term, right? Like I think you have to have the 10-year kind of vision on names like this. Same thing, Coinbase, right? Like I'm very tempted to get long on it because I feel like crypto is going to start being widely adopted, and Coinbase is by far the easiest way to buy crypto. It cuts out all the BS that every other, you know, Kraken, all that stuff, right? It's available in like, I think all 50 states, I want to say. So Bitcoin's retesting 56 or 46. So anyway, yeah, so an hour's gone by like that. No, I was kidding. Yeah, it's been 45 minutes already. I know I just ranted for like a few minutes about the key level thing, but I honestly feel like it's more important that I kind of drill that concept, because as far as like you guys growing, you guys would be surprised. I care a lot about how you guys perform. I think it's like one of the more gratifying things is to see you guys be successful. Not that I like want to be a teacher or anything, but I do like explaining it. I feel like it, you know, improves my trading. It gives me an opportunity to, I feel like it took me way too long to learn this stuff, right? Like I think it should have been one of the first things I wish I learned, right? Because I feel like it would have made the process a lot simpler and a lot smoother. So I really try to harp on it because I wish somebody would have done that for me. And, you know, so I'm trying to repay, because I feel like it's given me so much, like trading, right? And like your guys' support is fantastic, and I know I'm harping on it, and if you're annoyed, then you don't have to tune in, but I'm not going to stop because I feel like it's the most important thing, and it's just cuts out all the BS, right? You know, indicators and all that stuff. So I'm really, really trying. So, yep, I'm definitely emotionless. So 10K, 10K in 2 weeks, awesome. Keep drilling it. Yeah, I will, guys. I will. Yeah, I traded SoFi on the watch list this morning or yesterday morning. I very, very bullish on SoFi for tomorrow, guys. I think that swing is actually going to pay. I've been in it 2 days, longer than I wanted to hold it, but UPST with the massive beat. We're confirming over 17 now. In my opinion, we normally find this 1760 level between 1760 and 1816. I'm going to look for a move to 1774 next. Obviously, you can tell that's been a big resistance spot, right? Which would be 1774, 1778. If we can break that level, which is going to be huge, then 21 is in sight, no doubt. So I'm glad I'm helping, guys. I appreciate it. And I really don't think I'm a very good teacher, but maybe I just explain key levels well. I don't know. Or maybe it's because I had such a hard time learning it. I don't know. I was always like a horrible, like, I'm like your typical like B student in school. Like I was never like the smartest in the class. You know, I was very like 3.0 grade point average every semester, or 3.3, you know, like just that guy. What's the best books you read in regarding to mindset? I didn't read any books. I just have been through a lot in my life. So I don't know. I feel like that, like, sports and you know, like difficult family things, and not to get like too mental sided about it, but just very like been through a lot. You know, definitely not had like a just cake life. You know, it's been like a lot, and I've worked I worked probably like 15 hours a day for like a year straight. So like when you see all these people saying, oh, like Man's only been trading like 18 months, he's only been doing like a year and a half. Yeah, well, it was literally the only thing I did for 18 months, right? Like here, literally all day, I would do this by myself. Just looking at the charts, learning the key levels, right? Like this is what I dedicated my year of life to, because I knew it was going to pay off, right? And I knew I'd become better doing it. And I was determined. Like I literally gave up a 6-figure job offer in sales. You know, I had already graduated. COVID was like the biggest, you know, making good out of a bad situation, because it allowed me to, you know, not get into the 9-to-5 like race. And I'm not saying you can't be successful doing that. Like I probably should have done that. I made probably at the time an irresponsible decision and decided to do this full time. But guess what? It kicked my butt into gear, and it made me dedicated because I knew I had to be successful with it, right? So yeah, Naval is a good follow on Twitter also. But you know, in reality, mindset stuff is all self-development. I try to preach that, but biggest things are just being emotionless, and you got to have the work ethic, right? So if you have a background in sports or something in life that took, you know, for me, it was, I obviously, you guys know now, I was in a fraternity in college. I went through like the process of joining the fraternity. That was a very like bonding and, you know, like mentally challenging experience. If you're in the military, that's one. Like there's so many things in life that anything that requires hard work, it teaches you discipline, and it teaches you how to grind, and the grind is very, very important. And for me, that was like sports and you know, all the different things that I did. So do shrooms for mindset. That's a nice one, man. I respect it. You got to do what you got to do. Yeah, and you know, make sure you're prepared for it. Who helped me learn? I taught myself a lot. I honestly, guys, like I'm like the example of learn by doing. I just did it. I lost money, and then I got serious about it and learned. So I played baseball and basketball. Yeah, no, pledging is tough. That's what the mindset is. Like literally 70% of this is it's mindset, right? Like it's all this stuff that you see on my screen right now. Forget it, right? The mindset is the most important thing. You can understand this stuff perfectly and be like the best chartist in the world. There's a reason that the, you know, best chartist in the world isn't usually the wealthiest person in the room, right? It's because they lack something else. And so you have to really balance those things, and that's why trading is so hard. So what's my morning routine? Honestly, I wake up, I shower, usually try to get a workout in, make some breakfast, take my dog for a walk, usually with my girlfriend, try to spend some, you know, family time, get some time in with the people that are important to me, and then get in front of you guys and hang out and try to help. But yep, and I'm gonna go eat some dinner right now, guys, because I'm starving. So this was definitely probably more of a like rantish technical Tuesday, but if you got anything out of this, it's that make sure your key levels are a priority, because I promise you, if it doesn't improve your trading, cancel the Patreon subscription. Like I'm not gonna be mad at all if anyone did that, but you know, that's what I'm putting on it, is I think this will drastically improve your trading. So yeah, my average is 46 on SPRT. So I took a few during the day yesterday and got my average on 46. So I'm holding. I'm hoping for a big Bitcoin day. Yep, key levels are key, baby. Key levels. And then next up, mentality. Don't forget it. All right, guys, I hope you have a fantastic night. I'll see those of you that are on the pre-market for the pre-market live in the morning. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. It will be posted on the YouTube later this evening, and I will post the link on Twitter. So I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Take it easy and get some sleep because tomorrow we eat, right? So have an awesome night, guys. I appreciate you guys as always, and I will see you guys on the stream tomorrow morning. So I hope you guys have a great night. Take it easy.